Hey guys, I'm Dallas Morgan. I'm the writer, director, and producer of Sightings, and you are watching The 13th Wolfman. Arr, arr!
Hey everybody, it's the 13th Wolfman you have with me today. I have Dallas Morgan, the mad scientist behind this movie, Sightings. He's a writer, director, producer. Welcome to Sit Down, Dallas.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh man, this movie. This is one of those I'm old enough to have seen enough movies in my life to know that this is one of those interesting movies that just kind of like slides into, doesn't quite slide into horror, doesn't quite slide into sci-fi. It's going to have like its own genre, just kind of there, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's, that can be okay. That is usually not what you want when it comes to distribution and marketing. But
Yeah.
from a movie lover, I really appreciate that. So that was intentional from the outset.
Yeah. And you were saying on Wicked Horror Show that Spielberg was one of your major influences along with M. Night, you know? Um,
Yeah.
I've always dug M. Night stuff. The
Yeah.
only movie I didn't really care for because I thought it was predictable was The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
No,
Are you?
seriously.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm being serious. Two
Okay.
movies came out at the same time: The Sixth Sense and Stir of Echoes.
Yep.
And I thought Stir of Echoes was a better movie
Yeah,
because
I
it
remember
just
Stir of Echoes was very disturbing for me.
and no, seriously, I knew within the first 10 minutes what the secret was behind the whole Bruce Willis thing.
Yeah, I could see that. You know what I think works so well about The Sixth Sense and all of M. Night's movies really is like with The Sixth Sense is it's a great story regardless of the twist. The twist for me in that movie is icing on the cake because the real story is about this man learning to help this kid and stuff like that. So the thing I like about Spielberg and I like about M. Night is all of their movies have something more occurring beneath the surface beyond just the plot of the movie. They have themes and character arcs and things that they're trying to explore beyond just scaring people.
Yeah. I no, I really like. I thought The Visit was an awesome movie.
Yeah,
Split, phenomenal.
yeah,
Unbreakable, love that movie. I even like Lady in
love
the
it.
Water. You know,
Yeah,
and a lot of people crap all over that movie. So
yeah. The Village is amazing to me too.
thank you. I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I know
yeah. It's
I know a ginger monkey that feels the opposite.
we should talk about this. I'm curious to know what you dislike about The Village.
Well, we'll talk about it after the show. I know
Okay,
I
okay.
do. I love it. Um but the thing so when it comes to Spielberg is I'm not going to say he's the greatest director because to me, I'm a lot more horror than I am, But I really like Spielberg in his early days when he's writing his own stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Why is that? You like that more than when he's directed
Be,
other material?
yeah. Well, I mean, like later, he did like Jurassic Park. It's him just doing a Michael Crichton book.
Hmm.
Or Indiana Jones, it's him doing a script written by Lucas. Everyone gives him the credit for creating Indiana Jones, but it's Lucas that created Indiana Jones.
Right, right.
You know, I like it when he would just take his own ideas and just meld them because I thought that was a lot more creative rather than just okay, here's some material, do with it what you may. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think because I know he wrote Close Encounters. That was original. Jaws he wrote, but was based on a book.
by Benchley, yeah.
E.T. Yeah, E.T. was I think his idea, but he hired someone to write it. Um, So I mean, I know I think Close Encounters may have been one of the few, as far as his early work, that he
But
actually wrote.
wasn't Duel always also his?
Oh,
I
maybe, I don't know.
I
Yeah,
thought
maybe he
Duel
wrote that.
I thought
Yeah,
Duel was, and that's such a visceral movie. I mean, that just gets underneath your skin. One day you're driving
yeah.
along in a Plymouth Valiant and someone wants to mow you down. But let's talk about
Yeah.
your movie now.
Okay.
Sightings. Sightings. This is like I said, one of these cool movies. Where'd you get the idea from? I know you've already answered this question, but I gotta ask it.
No, I'm happy to talk about it. So the origin of Sightings came about because so my wife Taylor and I produced the movie together, and we wanted to make a feature film. And so we said, let's just make something together. I can write and direct it. You can star in it. We'll make it all, from the ground up. And so we knew we had access to this 200-acre ranch outside of Austin, Texas. And I was trying to come up with different ideas that could take place on that property. And I toyed with some different ideas. I actually, at one point, explored doing kind of a traditional ghost story out on a ranch, and went some different directions. And then ultimately was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, dude, you got to make a movie about Bigfoot. And I was kind of skeptical at first because I feel like Bigfoot's been done. There's been plenty of movies about Bigfoot and Sasquatch. And so I thought if I'm going to do something on Bigfoot, it's going to have to be original, and it's going to have to be different than anything else that I've seen. And so that's when I brainstormed the idea of exploring kind of a different angle on the origin of Sasquatch and where does he come from. And so once we had that idea, I started to do some research and found out a lot of other interesting things surrounding the legend of Bigfoot and tried to incorporate that into the story. And then from there, it was about really determining who these characters were going to be that were going through this extraordinary experience and what their relationships would be like and how they would change over the course of the story. And so settling on the character of Tom, who's played by Boo Arnold, being the dad in this family, a skeptic of the paranormal, and ultimately he becomes a believer in them because of the things they experience. That felt like a compelling story to me. And then the Sasquatch and Bigfoot elements were really just the catalyst for that main theme to take place.
One of the things you mentioned on Wicked Horror Show that came into this was was the reason behind the blood, the story of the Nephilim.
Yep. Yeah.
I
So
love that. So go ahead. No, go ahead.
yeah. I mean, so the problem came the way that came into the picture is I was trying to figure out, when you're writing a script, everything has to have purpose and meaning and justification, if you will. So the problem that I was facing in writing the script was, why this family? Why here? Like, why is the creature showing up now? And why is it showing up on their property? So trying to address all those. And so I was trying to figure out what the answer to that issue could be. And again, going back to my research, I had discovered that there are actual theories about the O negative blood type being connected to an alien civilization. And so that felt like a interesting idea and could easily be implemented into the story. So yeah, I mean that it was pretty exciting to think about some of this stuff when exploring it.
And the Nephilim, for some people in theology, is a cross between an
Yep.
angel and a human. It's an offspring from the two of them.
Right. And so in ancient astronaut theory, which believes extraterrestrials have visited Earth throughout history to help kind of propel our technology forward, they would actually say some of those ancient scripture accounts of angels coming down and reproducing with women of the earth would actually be extraterrestrial beings more so than spiritual beings. And so in the ancient astronaut theory world, the thought is aliens came down, reproduced with women in the human race, and the offspring is what we call Nephilim, which are essentially giants or this superhuman race.
That's there's your next movie, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, you need to do a movie about the Nephilim.
Well, have you seen some of the evidence of like bones and things that have been uncovered that seem to be Nephilim?
Actually, no. Um, I I I've been a part of four different religions, and I've always found religion kind of an interesting study. But I've never really watched like Ancient Aliens or stuff like that. So
Okay. Yeah, so there if you look up on YouTube there are some images and video of some archaeology studies that seem to have uncovered what people think may be the remains of Nephilim.
that's cool. I have to check that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, who's to say if the stuff's legit? It's all online, but it's fun to watch.
and your wife does a honest awesome job in this movie playing Boo's daughter.
Thank
I
you. Yeah, she did great.
Yeah, is that hard? I mean, is it hard to work with your wife and direct? I mean, you said that you produced it together, but she's an actress and you're the director. Is it hard to get behind there and say, I want you to do it this way, or
Yeah, it definitely has its challenges. Well, I mean, filmmaking, regardless of being married, is challenging. And so, what did help is because we knew she was playing this role, I could write the character with her strengths in mind. So I was able to really write this character knowing that she was going to be playing her. And so her dialect and the way she says things or moves and all those kind of things I could already picture as I was writing it. So that for sure. I mean, and then being on set has all of its own stresses and everything like that. But ultimately, working with Taylor in this environment was kind of nice because it's someone that you love and know and trust, and so we could really kind of rely on each other during intense shooting schedules. And then also, you know, I've never been in the military or anything like that, but I would imagine there's a bond that's created with fellow soldiers when you go into battle. And it's kind of a similar experience in this. You know, Taylor and I go in to make this movie together, and we come out the other side having this experience that bonds us together even more. So the challenges are there, but I think the rewards are much greater.
I have one last question for you. It's kind of a two for, and I'll let you go for the night. What was both the hardest and easiest thing about making this movie?
Wow, that's a good question. I haven't been asked that one yet. So the hardest part of this movie was definitely our 3 weeks of production. We were out in the elements, out on a ranch in Texas. We were dealing with rain. We were shooting 7 to 8 pages a day. And so, which means we were moving very fast and trying to get the coverage of all the scenes we needed. So, I mean, just the production in general was difficult, from the weather to the amount of stuff we were filming in a short period of time to, I mean, being low budget, you don't have a huge crew, so everyone's having to work extra hard. So that's definitely the most difficult thing is those 3 weeks we spent in Texas shooting the movie. The Was it the easiest or my favorite part? Was
Easiest.
that the easiest? I would have to say the easiest was editing the movie. So once we finished production, our editor Hunter Lemoyne actually came back to North Carolina with me and stayed. He lived with Taylor and I for several months while we edited the movie. So going from intense, crazy production environment to like super chill, wake up and hang out at my house with my editor and edit the movie was a breeze. And that was, it was fun too. I mean, we got to hang out together. We got to watch all the footage. And then the other aspect of it that was easy was because we had such a tight shooting schedule, we didn't really get to shoot a bunch of coverage. So we only had a certain amount of shots to use in every scene. So there wasn't a lot of choices in the editing room, and we had what we had. So from a creative standpoint, it was kind of easy because we were limited to the shots that we could choose from. So that would definitely be it for me. Is the editing process would be easiest.
Okay, and do we have permission to show the trailer?
Of course, let's show it.
Let's show it.
I found both my dogs in the field yesterday. I figured it was the extraterrestrials coming down to do their experiments on the dog's fur, but after what I seen tonight, it explains it.
Well, I don't see any tracks. It's probably just a wild animal got them.
Those women were found dead on your property the day after your resignation. And the worst of it all is your footprints were the only ones found near the scene of the crime.
I am under investigation for all this, and the last thing I want to do is draw attention to me and my family.
Ha! Ha!
You guys know this thing could be out there waiting for us, right?
Something's out there!
If we go to that thing and lure it out, it will be on the offensive and therefore aggressive, but if we go to it and come upon it when it's at rest, it won't have time to react and it will drop.
And that's the trailer. Yeah, Dallas, I want to thank you for coming by. Sit down, man. You're welcome back anytime. I love the movie. So if you want people to follow you on social media, where do you want them to find you?
Yeah, they can follow me on Twitter, just at Dallas Morgan, and then I'm on Facebook at the Dallas Morgan. So those would be the two best places to reach me.
Cool. Well, of course, for Dallas Morgan, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and I'm on the prowl.